Welcome in. It is day 217, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be jumping back into another game that primarily I've played only on Board Game Arena. It was one of the bigger games yet again that we were playing during that 18-month span. And when we were going through those games, this was again another one that we played it a lot, but it wasn't one of my favorites. I enjoyed the game, but I was always frustrated because I just never seemed to be able to figure out how to get it to work right to compete. I was always in last place. The game is Seasons. Now, the concept of the game is pretty simple. You have a lot of cards, and at the start of the game, based on player count, you'll get a whole bunch of cards out, and you're going to start to do a draft. So you're going to draft these cards, and you're slowly going to pick up cards from your hand. Once you have them all, you then have to separate them out. You're going to have starting cards for the first round, cards for the second round, cards for the third round. So you position these all out, and basically, you now are ready for your 3 stages of the game. So at the start of the game, first round cards are available for you. You have them in hand. And you're going to be able to complete these based on as you get the 4 different elements. You're working with your green for your plants, you're working with red for fire, with blue for water, and with yellow for sun. And you have each of these sectioned off on this rondelle style going around this board. So depending on where you are, you'll be able to do different actions, whether it be collecting certain symbols based on the dice that you roll, or going for more of the ability of gathering up these 4 types of resources to then spend to make cards, or to simply build up things to use off of the card's abilities to make victory points. When you get to the end of the circle, round 2 will begin, at which point you will get all of your round 2 cards. Each of you gets there at different times, so when somebody reaches there, it begins their round 2. So now, you keep going around, and you keep activating new cards. Now, occasionally a card does let you draw from outside of the ones that you had picked, so sometimes you will get additional cards to the board, but in general, the ones that you drafted are the cards that you are going to be using for your 3 rounds. And you're trying your best to position to say, I understand that this card is really good, but not until I've activated card A and B. So you want that to be at least beyond those. But then you're trying to figure out, well, how does it work? Is it a one-time hit for a huge amount of points? Or is this for repetitive use? Maybe I want to put those in round 1, and I want that in round 2, and I want to give myself a whole round chance to get them activated before I get that out. Or you might want to try to get that in round 1 with them and see if you can activate it and get it going. It's chancy. It's especially chancy because a lot of the cards are going to be designed to attack other players. So you might set yourself up, and before you can activate it, somebody comes out and destroys one of your cards. Or somebody hits all your resources, and now you've reduced a huge amount. It's a game of balance. It's a game about not only being able to really see how things fit together for yourself, but also realizing that as much of a picture as you put together, you have to be prepared to counter your opponents. And that's where being a drafting game is huge, because while you're drafting, you're seeing what other people can take. You're going to have at least some knowledge of the types of cards you might have to encounter, and you can start to prepare for either 1, countering an attack, or 2, getting ready for what they might be putting together for a plan, and if you need to attack them, because your plan might be quicker, but it may not score nearly as many points, and you are trying to preventively keep them back. Well, the game's got a lot of ups and downs, but in general, why don't we jump in, talk our 7 categories, and see where this game lands for us. When it comes to the art, I actually really like this game. I think that the box, the cards, the little pieces of cardboard that are different pieces of the board are all really consistent. They're nice. They sell the game. They grab your eye. When you see this box in a store, you walk over to the box and you see what it is. When you see somebody playing at a convention on the game, you can't help but go to look because it's so colorful and creative. Huge thumbs up. When it comes to those components, so primarily you're dealing with cards, but you do have 20 total die, and then on top of that, you're going to have your cardboard cutouts that go around for each individual person set up for the center. I think it's all really good. They put in a really good amount of effort on this. Thumbs up. Your money, the price, where is this landing? This is going to be available, I would say, in 3, maybe 4 out of every 5 board game stores. You'll probably see it in the occasional Barnes & Noble. I'm not sure you'll see it in Target yet, but it's available and it's not too expensive. I'd say it's about 50. It's a good amount of money, but it's worth it. I think it's a fun game. I think that you're going to find that the beginners, this isn't too complicated to play. The experts and the experienced are going to like it because there's a lot of extra game beyond just understanding how to play. Kids, it might be a bit much for, but in general, thumbs up. Your difficulty, we're jumping right back into there. So price-wise, it sells it to them. Is it worthwhile? I think that it's really meant for experienced, but I think experts are right behind them, and I think beginner players, they can try it. It's really not meant for them, but they can at least get in the game and then they can enjoy a run. They just aren't going to be competing to win. They're going to need to play a few games of this or become a better overall gamer before they can compete for the win, but they can enjoy the game because it's not too complicated to do the basics. Thumbs up. Replayability. Now, with the physical game, I can't speak to it, but with the online game, we'd played this a couple times in a row, and we definitely played this 3-4 different weeks of a month sometimes. It was a quick, easy game. You know, you could play it in about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. So if we played in an hour, we'd play 2 back-to-backs. I think there's replayability here, and I think it's one that you will get to your table if you have a smaller collection. Thumbs up. Keys to victory. I said it before. What are you looking to do? Are you trying to make it so you can build up more of those resources? Normally you can only hold 10, but you can find ways to expand how much you can hold. Are you looking to make cards worth lots of victory points? Are you looking to be preventative and try to get minimal points, but also hit your opponents and keep them down? There's a lot of directions to go, and because of how many cards come with the game, you are constantly going into a new version of it because you never know what randomness is going to bring out what for cards. So you might find that one game you don't even have a chance to do any attacks because there was basically nothing offered. Whereas in the next game, you might be overwhelmed by them and it's an all-out fight game. There's lots of ways this can go. Plenty of keys to victory. Got to be a thumbs up. Unique. Is the game unique? I think that the concept of going around a board, gathering resources, and spending it on cards that will eventually, at the end of the game, earn you points is not unique enough. I do think that it has a nice combination, but I feel like this can fall into a lot of other game realms for when you're trying to decide on a game you want to play for the night. You know, I wouldn't put this directly next to it, but I kind of go into the West Kingdom games and I think of Viscounts and I go, yeah, I'm getting the Rondel feel. I'm getting the feel of the resources. I'm getting the feel of trying to build up specific areas. Now, they don't use the cards to build up. Instead, they use the removing of pieces off the board and building up your houses, but it has a little bit of similarity there. So I think that there's a lot of games that kind of edge into this enough where it kind of feels like it's part of a group. There may not be one completely comparable game, but there's a good group of games that do compare. So I have to give the unique a thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? It's a nice game. I think that if you are an experienced player, it's worth adding to your collection. If you're a beginner, I think try it out, but I wouldn't add it yet. Go feel out what you're doing. This may not be a game to add right away because I don't think it fits for everyone. It's not in my collection, and while I enjoy the game, I wouldn't add it to my collection. It's not for my collection. And I think a beginner needs to feel out that collection before they add this game. But an experienced player who enjoys it, go out and buy it. Well, it has been day 217, and we've been speaking about the game Seasons. And you've been speaking to the Meeples champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.